From the Cheap Seat Sports Bar and Grill in Champaign, Illinois, Ford of Tuscola proudly presents to you the Behind the Mic Show, featuring sports, comedy, and entertainment. Now here's your hosts, Keith Gibson and Sam Irwin.
Welcome in, everybody, to the Behind the Mic Show from the Cheap Seat Sports Bar and Grill in Champaign, Illinois. I am your host, Keith Gibson, alongside me, my tag team partner, each and every week, all the way down in Paducah, Kentucky. He is the 15-minute world heavyweight champion, Slinging Sammy Irwin. How are you?
Keith Gibson, always a pleasure.
It is your pleasure, every week.
Every week. I tell you what, I am doing well, and I seen you build a palace
I did.
to the Golden Child in
I
your
did.
backyard.
I tell you what, Sam Irwin, I am sunburnt.
Oh, you damn fool.
I want to give everybody a visual right now. I was shirtless most of the day Sunday. Thought I'd get a little bit of sun on the parts of my chest and back that doesn't see it very often.
Oh.
When you're putting up a pool and doing some landscape and some mulch around it, not a smart idea, Sam Irwin.
No, not whenever you're as white as a sheet. You can get burnt in about 15 minutes, and you were out there for 2 hours.
15 may be a little too long.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, so no sunblock, I guess. Of
no.
course.
Well, I didn't think it was early morning when I started. I didn't think I needed it.
Oh. Well, that sun's different than when we were a kid, you know. I mean, it's evil anymore.
Well, you know, when that part of your body doesn't see sun in 12 years,
That's true. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Bless your heart. But it turned out well.
It did.
The pictures you shared, beautiful little retreat for the Golden Child. And I have no doubt that she loved it.
She does, and Mother loves it, and everybody loves it, so everybody's happy. The Queen's happy, the Golden Child's happy, and Dad doesn't have to do it anymore.
Perfect. Now, I do have a question, and I understand safety first, but I seen a picture of the Golden Child in her pool, biggest smile of all time, fantastic, but had floaties on. Now, the water is only 2 feet deep, and she's at least 3 feet tall by now.
Right.
So what's with the floaties? Is that just
so she can lay on her belly?
Oh,
we're trying to teach her how to float.
Oh, I see. It's not about necessarily safety.
If I try it, I just sink.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, like a stone.
Right.
Yeah, I do too. Yeah.
But no, we're trying to teach her how to float.
I gotcha. Okay. Mm-hmm. And when will, of course, obviously now you can't, but are swimming lessons in the near future?
Yes. So she loves being in the pool, so.
Yeah, right. Absolutely.
I'm looking forward to a warm day where I can sit out there and bask in my glory of an ice cold 12-ounce Busch Light.
Yep, and she's got her little house out there as well, little picnic table. You need is an umbrella to sit under, and you got it made.
Oh, I got one. Got the tree about 10 feet from that. In front's the tree, so it's shady. Perfect. Get me a hammock, and I'm set.
You'll be out in 5 minutes. You're supposed to be watching your child.
Well, that's what Mom's for.
Sleep in the hammock. Yeah.
No, I did do that last weekend. It was great. Looking forward to spending some time out there. And how was your weekend? Good?
Good. Didn't do a lot.
Sometimes that's good.
It is, yeah. Just kind of had a weekend to myself and just worked out and just kind of kicked back and watched some TV and just peace and quiet for a weekend. So not too bad. Yeah, every now and then it's good. Yeah, just don't need a lot of those back to back.
Right,
you know what I'm
right. Forearm gets tired. But anyway, we got a big show coming up for you tonight. Hey, we've got Milwaukee Brewers hitting coach, Clay County native, and a good friend of ours, Andy Haynes, coming on the show to talk to us baseball a little bit. What it's like growing up in Clay County, as we know, and his journey. So I'm excited to talk to him in a little bit. We're going to talk the IHSA moving the boys basketball state tournament back. We're going to touch base on that. We're going to talk about our plethora. I'm going to use that word again this week. Plethora. I like that word.
Keep using it.
Yeah.
When you get in your zone, right in there in that sweet spot, that wheelhouse, you found your word. Plethora. I say write it. Keep writing that.
That's what she said.
Exactly. That's right.
Hey, we're going to talk that. We'll talk NBA and some controversy there. We'll talk NASCAR, controversy in there. We'll also talk our BTM Greatest Sports Video Game Tournament. And what a final we had.
What a finale.
Yeah. So, we'll touch base on that. We'll also talk a little bit in depth of why I was so unimpressed with Long Gone Summer from last weekend on ESPN. And
I can't wait to hear this. Why you were unimpressed?
I was unimpressed. Okay. We'll touch base on that. We'll have our Bees Trees trivia and our dumbass criminal of the week. Not hard to find these days. But we'll have all that coming up on tonight's show. But first, we'll hear from our great presenting sponsor, Ford of Tuscola. You can give them a call at 217-253-3353 or visit them online at FordofTuscola.com. We'll be right back after these messages from Ford of Tuscola on the Behind the Mic Show. Tax time means savings time at Ford of Tuscola. The Behind the Mic Show and Ford of Tuscola have teamed up to save you an extra $250 on your next vehicle purchase just by being a listener. They have a great selection of both new and pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs starting at $24.95. Mention the Behind the Mic Show when you stop by or email BTM at FordofTuscola.com for more information. Ford of Tuscola. It's small town feels with great big deals.
Welcome back, everybody. Slinging Sammy here with you. And as always, my wonderful, adorable, 10-thumbed co-host, Keith Gibson.
No neck, apparently, after what Pigman told me last week.
But we're back with you here on the Behind the Mic Show, as always, with you every Thursday night. Thank you again for tuning in. But now, Keith Gibson, we're into the hot and heavy of the show. Give you some topics. Go at it quick. Let's get your thoughts. You ready?
I'm always good for a quick one.
All right.
That's what she said.
Definitely what she said. Yeah. Damn. 2-1. I'll never win this game. All right. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Let's go.
Here we go. First topic. Apparently, our show is important because we talked about this, and look what happened. The IHSA boys basketball tournament is coming back to Champaign.
It's coming
Urbana,
home, baby. Coming home.
Where it should be. Keith Gibson, your thoughts. I know you're excited.
I am very excited. For the last few years, attendance has really been down over in Peoria. Not that Peoria did a bad job, but it's never felt like it belonged in Peoria over Bradley. It really needs to be home, and I'm glad to see that the IHSA, the city of Champaign, Urbana, Savoy, this whole area kind of came together. All the businesses and hotels came together to bring this home. It was voted on Monday night that they are coming home in 2021. Hopefully, there's high school sports in March of 2021. Let's hope.
Yeah.
Right. But I'm excited. I'm very, very excited. I think it'll be great for the community. It'll be great for my house because people will be here. We can have good time. But no, I'm excited because now you and I could cover the state tournament.
Yes,
right here in town.
We're damn near media, right? We're media. We can press
we're pretty
pass,
close,
can't we? Yeah,
pretty close.
Why
But
not?
no, I'm very excited to see it back. The reason they left was because hotels and places like that were really gouging people, and that rubbed people wrong. I think they learned now that a filled hotel room is better than an empty hotel room.
Right.
And so I think it'll bring a lot of people back into town. I think you'll see attendance jump up. But the one thing that people I don't think realizing yet is that the girls' side, though, is staying in Peoria. Mm-hmm. So, the girls are staying in Peoria, which I think is okay. They have their own almost separate tournament, separate venue. The boys have Champaign. Maybe eventually, the girls will come back over to Champaign too. But, no, I'm very excited for it. I think it's a good push for IHSA, and it looks good for them too because sometimes they don't make the best decisions.
Well, and I kind of like the split up because maybe the full attention can be on the boys in Champaign and then the full attention can be on the girls. That way it's not all,
right.
Because they kind of like run into each other a little bit, right?
They do. Yeah. There's, once the girls are done, the boys are done. The boys start. Right. So, now it kind of gives you that separation. And I think that's a great point there, Sammy, is you get that separation. But I'm one thing I'm very interested to see how they set up. They always have the IHSA experience, and at Peoria they had the convention center right next door to there, where you could go and shoot hoops and do games and things for the kids. I'm anxious to see how they set that up at State Farm Center with not the convention center anywhere close. So that'll be interesting to see.
Well, maybe they can come up with. They've got time at least to think of something, and maybe it's just sometimes you can get a big tent.
Right.
And set up some things in there, kind of like a field house almost. Maybe they could set something up. They'll figure it out. But I think it's great for Champaign. That's going to help that local economy a ton. But I wonder, Keith Gibson, even though maybe some lessons were learned by the hotel owners, are they going to stick with it?
I think they will. I think they will because I don't think you want to see it gone again. Because
it can go real quick.
It can. It's only a 3-year contract. So, in 3 years, you've got that time to either make it or break it. And I think the IHSA has shown that, hey, we'll pull out. That's what she said.
That's
But anyway, they can go back to Peoria anytime. They have another spot and another city and another community that will take it. So it'll be interesting.
Right.
But excited to have it back in Champaign-Urbana.
Yes, should be a good thing. Topic number 2, Keith Gibson. NBA players getting ready for the season to start. They've worked it out, right? Going to be in Orlando, Disney World, all that. But there's a couple players that are outspoken. They're saying, you know what, during this time, with, of course, the Black Lives Matter movement, the protesting that's going on, that maybe it's not about playing basketball right now. It's about, as they put, helping our people move forward. And that is one from Kyrie Irving, also Dwight Howard, who is a teammate of one LeBron James, saying that, I don't know if really going after championships important right now. Keith Gibson, in this time of this nation when sports are needed and whenever you're trying to get a message passed, created and cause change, is this the right idea by Kyrie and Dwight Howard?
Let me go to my best Stephen A. Smith impersonation here. You got a microphone in front of your mouth every single night. You have a way to send a message to the world. Mm-hmm. Shut up and play.
Yeah.
No, he was very vocal on ESPN about this, and I can agree with him completely here. The best way to spread a message and keep it going is use the platform you have. These guys have interviews every single night with a microphone in their face. Go out and play. You have a job to do. You're getting paid to do a job. Kyrie, you're hurt. You probably won't play anyway, so what does it matter? But Dwight Howard, you have yet to win an NBA championship, and you have an opportunity to do it. Now, I completely see their side of this, too. But I don't agree with their way of doing it, of spreading the message of doing this. There's ways to do this, be vocal and get the message across and keep it at the top of everybody's mind. Toma, as I like to say, top of mind awareness. I think that's for everybody out there listening. Toma, T-O-M-A.
Let me write that down.
Yeah, you should write that down. Take a picture. I don't give a.
Okay, yeah.
Anyway, but there's different ways to do that. But I don't agree with him whatsoever. I think the NBA, it's going to be an exciting 22 games to finish up before the playoffs start. Because you got to think Ben Simmons is coming back healthy for the Pistons. And things. There's going to be a lot of guys coming back healthy, strong, and hungry. So I'm excited actually for this. I might watch a little NBA because I think it'll be a regular season games that actually matter.
I agree. And they're going to have huge ratings because it's actual sports and people are dying for sports right now. And like you, if you've got millions of people watching, you've got a big audience to spread your message. You can do it at the start of the game with the T-shirts you wear. You can have a player give a speech to start, like a LeBron James as the season opens back up. He's very good at public speaking, can get his point across. He's one of the most famous people in the world. So there's more people watching and getting your point. Then they talk about it on SportsCenter. Then they talk about it in the news. So that message is still going. Sitting at home doing nothing creates nothing. You've got to do something. As we've talked before, get off your ass and do something. This is their chance to do that. So I don't agree with it. And I'm betting after Dwight Howard said that, how long do you think it took before he got a text message from LeBron James?
About 0.3 seconds.
Yeah, as in call me now.
Right.
And I bet Dwight probably changed his mind real quick. It's like LeBron doesn't have but about 2-3 years left tops. He's going to be the number 1 seed. Now we're not setting this out. It's time to play.
Right.
And plus, you've got a contract. The season opens up. Honor your contract.
Exactly. That's the point.
All right.
What we got next?
Anything else?
No.
All right. Topic number 3. Major League Baseball, Keith Gibson, is still they don't know what they're doing. But the players have now said, you know what, owners? Ball's in your court. Tell us when to play and we'll be there. What do you think of that power move by the players?
I love it.
With Major League Baseball?
Love it.
Agreed.
There's no reason that the baseball season has not started yet. It's agreed on both sides. Both sides are at fault here. You know, the owners proposed playing 80 games, which is half a season, Sam Irwin, and giving them 75% of their pay. So you're going to play half a season, get 75% of pay, and you turn it down? So that's agreed on the player side. The owners.
Yep.
We want to give you a fraction of what you were making, just pay you for the games you played. That's agreed on their side. Here's who it's hurting, you and me, the fans. And it's hurting the sport, period. So the players that come out and say this, I fully support this. Make a decision, make a play. If everybody's ready, the Major League Baseball Players Union, the owners, here's a date, here it is, report to camp, let's go.
Let's go. It's quite simple, really.
Right.
And here's the thing, too, is just like we've talked, they signed a contract. You owe me this money. It didn't say based on a certain number of games, unless it's in your contract. It says a lot of that's on bonuses, right? It didn't say like your base pay and all that, that's on a season. Doesn't matter if the season's 60 games.
Right. So if you get hurt in the middle, in the beginning of the season, like say Kyle Schwarber, he still got his full year contract.
Still gets paid.
The owners, it's the owners here, and this is going to look bad. Black eye on the owners, which is going to hurt the fans. You know, in '94 when they striked, attendance dropped huge. Attendance is going to drop huge here, and it already is because of COVID and everything else. Mm-hmm. Get back on the field. Let's get this going. Everybody else is. Get your asses.
And here's the thing, Keith Gibson. I think you'll agree with this. Sometimes, and here's the thing. I feel no sorrow for the owners. They're billionaires.
Right.
I don't feel sorry for you. You can take a hit, and sometimes, for the greater good, you have to take a hit. It makes you look like a good guy, even if you aren't. That, you know what? Here you go, fans. We're going to give you what you want. We're going to take a little bit of hit, but then we're really going to hit it back hard come 2021 whenever things are back to normal.
Right.
But right now, you have to take the hit because it will be beneficial for you down the road. If you don't have a season, I'm calling right now, Keith Gibson, if they don't have a season, baseball is done.
I don't think it'll be done. I don't think it'll be done.
Done.
But you will see maybe some teams in the next 5 years, if they don't have a season, you could see some teams really collapse. Like, Miami. Mm-hmm. I hate to say this, but Baltimore. Teams in these low markets, the smaller markets, aren't going to be able to sustain. God, Bosco. Sustain if they don't have a season. So they need to get in a gear. There's still plenty of time. We're not quite to July yet. You know, it wouldn't even be the second half of the season. Let's play the second half of the season and go with it.
Well, and my concern is it's been declining in attendance anyway. You know, the ratings aren't great for baseball. And you throw this in after you got lucky which we'll talk about later in the show. You got lucky because two guys saved your entire world after that strike.
Or did they?
About this, we will discuss that later. We won't let the cat out of the bag right now. But I think they're in serious trouble if they don't play. I don't care if it's 40 games. Something.
Right.
Do something.
Right.
Have to.
Yep.
So, anyway, anything else on the topic?
Nope, because it just upsets me. I'm ready for baseball.
Okay.
You know me.
All right. Moving on. Trouble, Keith Gibson, in the NFL. COVID strikes as the Dallas Cowboys had several players test positive for COVID, including one, Zeke Elliott, the star running back for the Dallas Cowboys. Are you starting to get concerned, Keith Gibson, that we may not have sports after all with this second wave of the coronavirus as they're talking about?
No, I'm not. I'm not at all. I think I almost think the NFL is getting everybody together too early. I think the IHSA has done well in keeping groups. You've got to work in groups. I know the NFL is doing some full team workouts and stuff. This thing's going to spread if you do that, and that's my one worry. But I think we'll see the NFL. I know some owners again. Delay. I don't know, man. This COVID thing it's been going on since March now. We're in month 4, February, March. The middle of March, everything shut down. It's there. You've got to take precautions. But if you're not taking precautions to keep yourself healthy, it's almost got to be on you then.
Right. Well, here's what I think. Bring all these NFL players back now. Test them all. If they are found to be positive, you isolate them for 2 weeks until it's gone. Then test them again. If they're good, bring them back around and isolate these players, which sucks for their families and all that. I agree. Just like these NBA players, they're going to be stuck in Orlando for like 3 months.
Right.
Living at Disney World. Granted, maybe you got to park yourself. You go on some rides.
Awesome.
How cool is that? That's not so bad. But if you're away from your family, that's a struggle. But I think they've got to be careful here because as we've seen, this stuff can spread like wildfire. And if you get a bunch of players getting sick, then you get the union involved that you brought us back too early. But
the union agreed to it.
Well, then they have no leg to stand on. So, boy. But hopefully, I also think now, Keith, after 3 months of this, I do think, even though I don't know that hospitals and things like that have the supplies they still need, I do think that workers are more prepared, if you will, on how to deal with this better than when it started, of course, because you didn't know.
Right.
Now you kind of know the symptoms and a little bit more of what they're learning more and more as it goes on,
I think it's
still
being
not
handled,
easy, but
right, it's being handled much better now than it ever was.
Think so.
I think hospitals aren't overwhelmed by any means, so I think I think we'll be all right. I think we'll be all right. I think the season will go on as planned, and I'm ready for football season. And you and I have talked, and I want some fans interaction. We always love asking our fans and listeners.
Absolutely.
We've talked about doing a BTM Show Fantasy Football League. So let us know whether you'd be interested in doing that.
Love it.
Might
Why
have
not?
might have a little cash involved in it. Just saying.
Ooh, maybe some prizes, maybe some cash. Yeah. All right. Anything else on that topic, Keith Gibson?
No, just ready for everything to get going.
Okay. Next topic. Ooh, and this is a little touchy, Keith Gibson.
That's what she said.
The Confederate flag. Boy, you're hitting here. That's 4 or 5 already. The Confederate flag has been banned at NASCAR events of all things. Keith Gibson touchy right now with the Confederate flag. And boy, I shared that on the old Behind the Mic Show page on Facebook. And woo, some people are a little sensitive about that. Your thoughts on the Confederate or the NASCAR banning the Confederate flag at events?
I don't watch NASCAR a whole lot.
Right? Nobody else does either, apparently, anymore.
I don't know what else to do with my hands.
Car ran pretty good, man.
Car ran good today.
Yeah.
Dear 8 pounds, 6 ounce baby Jesus. No. Man, I don't see anything wrong with it. I don't. I'm not for or against it. Whatever. It's your beliefs. To be honest with you, I don't know. Whatever. Yeah. That's really my answer. Whatever.
Right. Way to take a stand and pick a side, Keith.
There's no. I mean, it's history. It's a part. Here's my thing. Okay, so you want me to take a stand? Here's my thing. It's a part of history. Is it something we need to move away from to bring everybody together? Yes. So I think, and thinking all in all, it was a good call. But it's never going to go away because it's a part of American history. So that's my stand on it. Yes, it's part of history. It's going to exist forever. But do we need to get away from it so everybody can be uniform and be not black, white, brown, Puerto Rican, Dominican, whatever you want to call it? No, we're one person. We're human beings. So I mean, that's my thing on it. But to me, whatever. I didn't even know it was that big until this happened.
Oh man. Well, they call it. It's about their heritage. Things like that for something that lasted like 4 or 5 years. That's their heritage, and you lost. So I'm not real sure, why that is. You really have to talk to somebody that's really big on that. But Keith Gibson, I will say this. They may have banned, this Confederate flag, with all that. But there's still a Confederate flag left in NASCAR. It's of course, the last lap flag, the white flag.
Wow.
That's the Confederate flag still exists, so you still got one left.
Well, you know what? I saw somebody mention to me the other day, what other flags can we ban? I just thought a cardinal flag would be a good one.
Oh, yeah. Well, I don't blame you. That brings a lot of misery your way, too, yeah.
Usually.
So, yeah, that's going to ruffle a lot of feathers. Do you think it will help or hurt viewership in NASCAR?
Well, right now, NASCAR's got big ratings because it's the only thing on TV.
That helps.
I want to see what ratings are after everything starts back up.
And I did notice, I shared that as well, and that's what got this whole thing started, was there was a bump in ratings whenever the one driver put, Black Lives Matter on his car.
Which I thought was cool.
The Confederate flag. Yeah, I thought that was cool. And it got higher ratings. So does this open this up? Because NASCAR was dying anyway, as we know. Their viewership's been going down for a while, right?
So their attendance.
So there's a problem. Yeah, low attendance. It's been a problem. So now they get a bump. Does this bring in, new viewership? Or
Probably.
is it going to cost them?
I actually think being the only sport on the block right now is helping them out because maybe eyes who haven't watched them previously are now watching them. So that's my take on that.
Maybe so. Yeah, and you know what, Keith Gibson? Here's my thought. Why does it have to be 500 friggin' laps or whatever it is? Why so many? So many.
Strategy.
I don't get. And here's a thought which we'll talk about here, and this leads us into this. Maybe if they had, some turtle shells and banana peels to throw out and make it a little more interesting. So next topic, Keith Gibson. This takes us to Behind the Mic Show, the video game finals, which was your brainchild that you put out there for, once again, interaction with the show. The people love it.
They did. We had a lot of interaction with the whole tournament.
And in the finale, which it ended
Tuesday.
Ended Tuesday, in a close one, Keith Gibson, Mario Kart defeats the Madden series. And how close was that final vote, Keith Gibson?
When I woke up Tuesday morning at 6:11 a.m., it was 50,
tied, was it not?
53-53. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to let this go for the morning till I get to work, and then we'll declare a winner. And somehow Mario Kart ended up jumping ahead. Ladies and gentlemen, I put this together, and I had my thoughts were no chance in hell Mario Kart comes out the winner over RBI Baseball, Tecmo Bowl, Madden, any of these. I thought it'd get through the first round, maybe 2, but then be put away. No. Well, Mario Kart's a great game. Love Mario Kart.
Yes.
I do.
Yes.
But I didn't think it'd win this whole thing, but here it is. Fans voted on it. Just like our beer, America's favorite beer, Busch Light. And look what happens now. Now it's on the back of BTM shirts.
That's right. Absolutely. Now, Madden series, of course, been around forever. Good Lord, long time. Very successful series. Keith Gibson, do you think the reason why Mario Kart ended up winning the whole thing is because you can get a lot more people playing together? It's more of a interaction, have beers when you're in college.
Oh,
You can still play as adults now. You can.
I still play it. I've got it right sitting 15 feet from me.
So do you think that's why?
Yeah. I think it attracts more than just sports fans. It attracts everybody, and we have a lot of fans who just aren't sports fans of the show, and so I think that's a good reason why it run. But hey, congratulations to Mario Kart. We'll start.
And here's what I think. You
want
to know why? Not everybody plays Madden,
right?
But everybody plays Mario Kart,
right.
And that's why. But it was still a very close race. That was fun. Thank you to the people that voted. The interaction, the debates were great.
It was.
But Keith Gibson, there's our hard-hitting, fast topics coming at you. So what do we got coming up next for those?
Next, we'll come back to the Behind the Mic show after this quick break and hear from Morgan's Place. We'll have Andy Haynes, Milwaukee Brewers hitting coach, on with us right here in the Cheap Seats Sports Bar and Grill.
Morgan's Place Canine Salon has been offering exclusive one-on-one grooming services in the Champaign area for over 12 years, using all natural products, giving lots of love to your dog. Visit www.morgansplace.me to learn more. Morgan's Place, making dogs beautiful.
Welcome back to the Behind the Mic show from the Cheap Seats Sports Bar and Grill. Keith Gibson, Sam Warren alongside you each and every week. And this week we bring in a good friend of ours and a boy from Clay County who's doing big things now in Major League Baseball. Andy Haynes, Brewers hitting coach, thank you for joining us this week on the Behind the Mic show.
Yeah, fellas, thanks for having me, man.
So, growing up in Louisville, Illinois, the small town in southern Illinois, just south of Effingham, north of Flora, not very big, but you've done quite a big things in your career. Growing up in Clay County, what got you the itch?
Well, I think baseball, really in my blood when my parents took me to Busch Stadium to Cardinals games and watching those teams in the 80s. And that kind of just ingrained in you. And then, honestly, thankful for growing up in Louisville, there was literally, you just go out the door when it's daylight and you come in when it's dark, man. So you just play ball and you don't have a lot of things my kids have. And that's kind of a blessing. And, older sister that played sports and younger brother loved it. I had buddies in town, and that's what we did, man. We just played, and I've been very fortunate to stay in the game, and it's been awesome.
A lot of wiffle ball, wasn't it?
What's that?
A lot of wiffle ball.
Yeah, wiffle ball. It's made me think I was good at baseball. You know what I mean? Tricked me.
Right. And now the question I want to ask you is, have you ever been at the level of competition that you had when you were playing for Wabash against Dickies Reynolds for the championship in Pony League? Have you reached that level since?
That was epic. I mean, I think between me and Sam, we led the league in confidence. You know what I mean?
Oh man! Hey, I tell you what, that was a lot of talent on those teams. Good God! I mean, Louisville, of course, was loaded, and they won every friggin' year. But one year, I think we actually did win the big championship. But boy, we had a team too, because we had the Freeman brothers and Lusk and all these guys. Yeah, but me and poor Haynes were the ones stuck behind the plate, sweating in the 98-degree heat. So good times those were. And he was far better than I ever
No
thought
doubt.
about.
We were touching on Clay County and Louisville. You think back, just what a good teammate is. Like a loyal friend. Some traits I was taught. I'm oblivious to it. I'm like, hey man, some things that really helped me along the way. Also got me in a lot of trouble. Being loyal. You learn these things it takes, man. It's that's just the way it is, boys. I got a lot of problems. But loyalty and all that ain't one of them. So that's very thankful for that, man. How you grow up and you don't realize it or probably appreciate the time, but when you get out in the world and kind of it takes what it takes, some of those character traits come out that, definitely where I grew up are it's in me,
Well, and let me ask you this. You, of course, played with Josh Zink from probably the time you were 5 years old all the way through. Was he really a great player, or did you guys just allow him to be on the team because his dad had a nice batting cage set up for you guys to use?
That's such a, I wish Zinko was listening to this. It's so epic.
He will.
I would answer it differently in a setting. No, Josh, I mean, in all seriousness, like the Zink family, they took me as one of their own, and then we did Josh as well. I mean, literally, like, I just go in his house and dominate the fridge like I'm one of theirs, and he did the same at my house. And I joke because I had a convenience store in town. I'm like, hey, do you realize my tab at that convenience store? Because I didn't pay for anything for like 26 years. So like my tab's like got to be in the thousands of dollars. But Josh was a great athlete. What he is a tremendous competitor, man. Like a genuine great competitor and a great player. And, pushed each other and we supported each other. And still to this day, I've known him since I'm 4 years old. So, again, one of those things that you don't really know how lucky you are being from a small town till you realize not everybody has that.
Mm-hmm. And with your busy schedule now, how often do you get to go back home? Is it pretty rare?
Not much, man. That stinks. Yeah. But it's funny when you go back home, man. I went home this winter and he had me come speak to his boys' basketball team. And I walk in the gym and in some ways it feels forever. In other ways it's like, dude, that was like yesterday, The gym still smells the same. And seeing him there and watching him, I'm proud of him. Giving back to those kids and coaching them. And so, mom and dad are there, man. My sister's in Albany. And, but yeah, so it's hard with kids. And, my wife's from Nashville, so we're where she's comfortable and has help. And so a few times a year, and it's cool going home. People are proud of me, but
hey, it's always home, isn't it, Andy?
I'm going to get some, it's humble pie too, man. You know what I mean? They ain't going to, they're not
I'm going to say, once you walk through the door, they'll let you know real quick, won't they?
They know all my warts and stuff, man. You know what I mean? So they're still my guys and proud of me, but it's pretty awesome to go back.
It is. Yeah, man. That's why I said home was always where you can go and still see the boys and still act 12 years old if you need to, because that's how they know you. So
no doubt.
So let's talk about moving from high school into college. Played some college ball, and then how did everything kind of start progress career wise for you in the minor league ranks and moving up?
Yeah, so went to Albany Junior College. Was fortunate there, kind of that whole conference really, and then Dennis Conley, the head coach, still there. He's one of the best baseball guys I've ever been around, and so that was fortunate, and was fortunate to play pretty well there, and ended up at Eastern. Again, just kind of fought for playing time, and ended up having a pretty good career there, or a pretty good year, and then
Ohio Valley Conference in the year 2000, if I'm correct.
That's not shabby.
Exactly.
Not too shabby, Mr.
Yeah,
Haynes.
so it's funny. I had a guy say, man. He was describing me. He's like, Haynes wasn't very big, got the most out of his talent, overachiever. I'm like, nah, man, I was 6'4", 220 in my mind. Come on. What I'm talking about, But that's what you kind of had to have, right? And fortunate. So after that, I just knew, like, man, I don't want to stop being involved, like, with a team. Like, I'm a team guy, man. Like, that kind of makes me who I am. Like, I just knew I wanted to be a part of a team. So I knew, like, coaching, I wanted to give it a shot. Coach Conley at Albany says, hey, man, like, we'll figure it out. Come help me. Then he had told me, they said, hey, if you want to do this, you got to get your master's degree. Go be like a grad assistant. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me, man. Like, go to school again? Like no way I can do that. But, man, I'll find a way, and get it done. And then I was fortunate to become a graduate assistant coach at Middle Tennessee State. Very good program. I'd played against him as a player. It's right outside Nashville. The head coach there, awesome, just passed away, but, like, baseball, like, legend. So I worked for him. The summertime came, and there was an independent team. Their third base coach, something happened, he couldn't go. And it was literally like 2 weeks before the season started. I'm like, I'll be there tomorrow, dude. Like, coach third base, whatever. I don't care. And so I just kept taking opportunities. 2007 in the fall, the Marlins had called. Some people had recommended me. and said, will you interview for a rookie ball job, hitting coach? I said, sure. I did that, got the job. And then next year I managed Jamestown, New York. And I just kept getting opportunities, man. It's like being naive and young and having some courage, being myself, and then having people really just believe in you, and giving you opportunities that I had no business getting. And then, you're sacrificing too. People tell me this happened quick and all that. It's like, well, not as quick as you might think.
No, it did. Yeah, because my assistant Linda has looked up stats as she always does.
Oh, good, Linda.
So OCC basically in 2001, and then like every year you're going to a different town, like the Waterloo Bucks, Gary Southway, South Shore, Windy City, like you said, Miami, Jamestown, Greensboro, Jupiter. Every year you're moving around, and it took years to get where you're at now. So this is not an overnight success by any stretch of imagination. It's just sticking with a dream, correct?
Yeah. And I wasn't sure where it'd take me. I knew I could not be like big leagues or else I was a failure. I just knew like, hey man, I got to do the best I can. I want to impact players. I want to have no regrets when I'm done and see if I can do this. And then I had some really good people that believed in me. And then after 15, I was fortunate, got to manage in AAA. I was like 36 managing AAA, and the Cubs had a hitting coordinator job open. Again, somebody recommends me. I interview. That was like the best timing ever because I joke.
I enjoy it.
I get hired by the Cubs, and then get a World Series ring out of it, and just be very, very tiny part of it. But I was there, and then in the fall.
Hold on, 17, Andy. Now we saw you on TV a lot. If you haven't noticed, I'm a diehard Cub fan. I saw you on TV a lot. I enjoyed that.
Small part my ass. You were on TV quite a bit.
That's only because I was wearing Joe Madden out with questions all the time, man.
Well, that's all right. That's a good mind to pick.
Yeah, I'm like, Joe, what do you got, man? Come on. What are we doing, Joe? But he was awesome. So the big break really, a lot of them was in fall 17 when Theo Epstein called me. I remember right where I was, I had my phone in my pocket because he told me he was going to call me. I'm like, look at my phone every 5 seconds. He finally calls, and he's like, Hainsey, man, I'm like, you're going to be on our big league staff. And it was just like almost surreal,
Wow.
That was unbelievable. I told him, I said, I wish I could come through the phone and hug you, Theo. You had no idea.
Right.
So that was awesome. And then with him 1 year as the assistant. And then at 18, I got a call from the Brewers saying we'd like to interview for a head hitting coach job. Really fortunate that interview went well. And then, here I am, hitting coach with the Brewers. So just really, it's nothing I've done besides do my best. And really, it's been like you're around people that give you opportunities and believe in you, man. And that's kind of what it's about, no matter what you do.
So you hear this, this term a lot. And I, from, back when I knew you back when, and from probably now as I see on TV, would they consider you a player's coach? Is that one thing you get described as a lot?
Yeah, I hope so, man. Like, it's different as a hitting coach than a manager. Like in the minor leagues as manager, I'd say I'm a player's guy, man. I love you, but when it comes to, I'm team guy. You know what I mean? I'll pick the team over you when I have to. Whereas a hitting coach, you don't have to do that. Like I'm all about them and what's best, and you have to live in their world, and you're trying to impact them. So, I don't think you coddle them. I think when you have kids, you learn. Like, I want to help you, man. And sometimes it's not what you want to hear. But I think being a parent helps you in that dynamic a little bit because you can't just say that a boy, that a baby when it's not right. I mean, coaching is criticism a lot, correcting things most of the time, to be honest. So you're trying to thread that needle. I'm kind of fascinated by it. And so I would hope so. The players in my world, man. So it's like, hey, you got to be able to impact them.
Well, you've got a guy on the staff on the team right now on the roster who's a pretty good hitter and an MVP, and Christian Yelich. What's it like working with him and with Mike Moustakas, Grandal, Arcia, all these guys, Braun. You guys got a great ball club, top to bottom. As much as I don't like to say that out loud and in person. No, I'm kidding. But you got some big time talent you get to work with each and every day now. So what was that like for you, knowing what kind of talent you have coming into the Brewers organization?
Yeah, I think it was an advantage a couple ways. Number one, I saw them a lot across the field, so I knew a little bit just by watching them. And then, Yelich, what's just circle of life type thing. I was kind of the first guy he saw when he signed, like with Miami. He's drafted 2010. So, I think with Christian, like the cool part about it is like I was with him his first, 3 or 4 years, and I demanded a lot of him, and I think he respected me, knew what I was about. So then I see him go to the big leagues. I coach against him. When I make it back with Milwaukee, I feel like I have this like license to coach him, so to speak, because I'm not, intimidated by him. I'm not scared of his status. I can push him. And Christian's like almost too good to be true, man. Like he's super talented and he wants to be coached. So I think when other guys know that he trusts me, that gives me a head start with him, maybe a little bit of opening. But yeah, Braun, awesome guy. Moustakis, I was proud to be with him. Council, our manager, who I think the world of, like very underrated. David Stearns, our GM. Like this is a awesome group of guys, man. And I'm fortunate to be a part of it. But I think there was an advantage from the fact they knew I was with Chicago. They knew that Yelich had been with me, and he trusted me. So that definitely helps, coming into a new job.
Definitely.
I'm not a big pedigree guy, so I think they're kind of looking around like, who is this guy and what's he about?
Now, does Craig Counsell ever try to get you to get anybody in his stance?
That's great, man. I knew that. I should have known that was coming up.
The hole up here. I'm like, well,
Yeah.
He did it though. It worked for him.
It worked. Yeah, that's right.
It did work for him. I mean, Counsell, like, this guy's really good, man. He's a walk-on at Notre Dame. Think about that. Played 16 years in the big leagues.
Yeah.
Incredible manager. I learned something from him all the time. I've been very fortunate, like Joe Madden, who I look up to immensely, and then being around, call him Counts, but just the leeway I have to ask questions and be myself, and they don't judge me, man. They know. I'm like, hey, you guys know.
That's great.
Now, as a hitting coach in today's baseball, obviously in the era that, whenever you were playing all the time, baseball is completely different anymore. So what did you have to do yourself to kind of adjust, because in today's game, it seems like it's hit for power, where it wasn't really that way whenever, we were kids. So how was that adjustment like for you, and what did you do to prepare for that to where you could really work with the players of today?
Yeah. So it's really about the players have learned and agents learned what was getting rewarded, for financially. Like Joe and I talk about this a lot. Counts and I talk about a lot, the way that they want the game played. Well, if you want it played that way, you better have some incentives for it financially. Players were getting paid. And then the other thing is the ballparks got smaller. They say the ball's juice. I don't know, but I know some nights it's like playing with Titleist out there. So I don't know, man, what's going on, but it's like, hey, and you score runs, analytically, these guys are smart, man. Teams that score runs, they get on base and they slug, and players get rewarded for it. But I mean, the name of the game is of course, you got to live in their world. I call it. You still have your core beliefs and what you believe, and I joke hey, we're gonna hit that thing in the air, and ground balls are for the other team. I make these jokes. I tell my son at 7, I'm like, who hits ground balls, man? He goes, the other team. I say, that's right, buddy. We ain't choking up. We're hitting rockets, But also, I said the 2 biggest hits of my life, were opposite field ground balls, was Zobrist and Montero, got me a World Series ring. So really offensively, to answer your question, Sammy, name of the game is you got to drive the baseball. When you do that in today's game, they're going to be home runs. The parks are smaller, but you still want a team that can win every type of game you're in. You still want to execute. That stuff never goes away. You don't want to be like a one-trick pony, I call it.
You teach Andy? Do you teach a lot of guy on second? You want to get that ball the right side. Do you push that a lot, or do you let the guys have more of a freedom to kind of with in today's game, maybe hit the 2-run homer? Are you a type of hitting coach that says, hey, the situational, we want to get the ball the right side of the infield, move the guy over with 1 out?
Yeah, I mean that's really up to the manager, to be honest. The strategy part, my preference would be if it's that important, you get the guy over, you should bunt him over. I don't think it's that easy against Major League pitching to
old school, baby.
I love
it. Well, I'm not saying I would do that all the time, but I'm saying if it's that important,
Right.
And
Yeah.
I got Hader hot in the pin and bottom of the lineup, whatever. It's just like, hey, we need that run that bad. We have to get the guy over. You're better off bunting the guy because it's not that easy to hit the ball a certain place of the field against Major League pitching. So that's on the manager, the strategy of the game. But for the most part, you know, you're trying to get the guy to maximize his talent, like, and be the best guy he can be. You don't want to try to do too much. You don't want him sacrificing doing too little. It's like we're trying to be the best version of that dude, like, every day. But
Right.
yeah, I mean, that's just kind of me. If I was managing a game and like it's that important, like if I want you to give up your at bat, you know, I bunt the guy over. But
yeah,
you know, that's more of a manager type thing. The bunt has went away.
Yes, it has.
You know. Just because they know the value of giving up outs and things like that. But, you know, it's hard because you know the long game of what plays, but you also know in certain moments, like, if we got Hader up in the pen, I'm like, just get a run, man. This thing's over with.
Right. Yeah. How special is that to watch him on a daily basis? I mean, as a hitting coach, I know you're a hitting coach, but Hader, man, he's special. He really is.
Yeah. Ass counts, man. I mean, believe me, I think I'm the pitching coach half the time. The manager, I'm telling him, like, hey, we got Hader up. You know, what are we doing? I want Hader in the game. It's like a running joke because he's so good. And I said last year, I don't know if we appreciate the greatness we're watching when we watch Hader and Yelich at times. Like, I've never seen players swing and miss like that off pitches when Josh Hader's pitching. Like, it's literally like greatness, man. And when Yelich has been Yelich, it's like, you know, I've asked guys, like, have you seen anything like this before? And Braun's like, nah, maybe Barry Bonds at times, but I don't think people realize what they're watching.
Wow.
You know, him and Hader both. So, yeah, I appreciate it. Believe me, it's pretty unbelievable to watch.
Right. Now, as a Major League hitting coach, you know, a lot of people, when they probably think of that, they think, oh, just go to the cage and work on hitting. How much is involved in that? Like, do you sit down with players and watch videos of, like, their swings and what they did against maybe upcoming pitchers and kind of plan and just little tweaks and things like that you do behind the scenes that people don't even know about?
Yeah, man. I think it's a monster. I mean, it's an absolute monster. You got 12 guys, and I always say a hitting coach never has a great night because we win 12-1. I'm pumped, but I usually have one or two dudes that didn't get hits, and they're not having a great night. So I'm thinking about him. So I have a lot of information from upstairs on how to decipher it on the other team's pitchers, get it to our players. I'm also like, you're trying to keep each guy at his best. And what I've learned, man, it's like you go from rookie ball to big leagues. Like, so we'll use Braun, you know, who's a superstar. It's like you're trying to see when Ryan Braun is off. Like, it's still the best player. Like, you know, it's still like, this dude's unbelievable. He always tells me I'm mangled. I'm like, you still look unbelievable, bro. Like, the best player I've ever seen. So, like, the hardest thing in the world is coach guys when they're elite like that. Because you're literally trying to move the needle like 1%. And you're fighting for that all the time, for them to be at their best or overachieve. And they're so elite that it's just a hard thing to push forward. So, and then you want to have clear information on the other team, how each guy wants information delivered to him. It's a monster. I'm there all day, every day. And what these guys go through, I've said this in the paper in Milwaukee a lot, like, to see what these guys put themselves through every day, you know, to sometimes make it look easy at 7:05, you know, and to see them after the game, the exhaustion after the game. And then it keeps coming at them every day.
It's kind of like an iceberg, isn't it? We just see the peak. You don't see what's underwater, right?
Man, it's
Basically
unbelievable, man. Like, yeah, when the game starts, I'm just like, I'm out of gas, man. You know, I'm like, I got to coffee up right here and regroup because now it's go time. And it's like what we go through all day, what the players put themselves through, man, is pretty incredible, pretty awesome to see every day.
Andy, moving forward, hopefully we get baseball here back soon. Let's pray, because I'm missing it like nobody's business. But do you see maybe down the line in the future, do you see yourself as a major league manager? And is that something that you want in your career?
Should have been the Cubs manager. He should have been the Cubs manager. I'm still pissed about that.
So, yeah, I mean, yeah, I think it'd be like very like disingenuous to say, no, I don't want to manage, man, I'm good. Like, of course, like that's I think my dream job, because I think it's like competition at the highest level. I love like what being a leader is. I love what the team is. I mean, Sammy and I Sam was a quarterback, and a catcher. Like I was a catcher and a point guard. It's like if I played football, I've been fighting Sam to be the quarterback, man. Like, and I joke, like in college, I joked, the guy goes, why you want to go to pro ball? I said, because I get to manage, man. I ain't no assistant. I'm the head coach. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
And, but I love what being a leader is. And that's what I love about my job, being a hitting coach right now. Like Counts is so good at it. Like, I feel like I'm a leader of that offense. And of course he's a manager and I talk to him all the time, but like, I still feel like I'm a leader type position. So I'm fascinated by being a manager. I'd love to do it. What I've done to this point has been working. I have not obsessed about myself or how do I get this job? I think it's like so unattractive, I'm a motivated guy. I'm not going to apologize for it, but it's like, I just want to dominate, like being a hitting coach. I know how hard it is. It's fickle. I'm very fortunate to have the job, and it's like, keep my head down. And I hope one day somebody says, yeah, man, like, let's talk to Andy and see what he's about. And I'll be very genuine and tell him what I'm about and see if I'm the guy. But man, I'm telling you, watching Joe, watching Counts, like to manage, like be the leader at the like best competition in the world, man, a major league dugout. Yeah, that'd be
well, we want you to have that someday, and we love that you've gotten where you're at, and it's been amazing.
And how are your feelings? Do you think we're going to have baseball this year?
Well, first of all, I would tell you, I'll say here, I would never get thrown out. I would be calm and composed the whole time.
And that's a lie.
The Haynes temper.
I don't believe that for 1 second.
The Haynes temper would be so.
I worked with him one summer for Derry Construction back in 1995. I saw the temper then. we both had tempers at that time.
So I would be calm. But on a serious note, we'll have a season, man. I have to be optimistic about it. And, what stinks for everybody is you kind of get the curtain pulled back. Like it's the business of the game that nobody wants to deal with. We just want it's pure. We love it all. There's a business side of it that kind of rears its ugly head at times. And it's like, I have to separate it, Still a great game, man. The business part stinks. I don't even want to deal with it myself. I want to keep the curtain closed, but it's there, it's real. And, but yeah, we'll play. I just want to win how many games. And it's unfortunate that it hasn't been more of an easier thing for the public and more of this thing they can grab a hold of. But when it starts, I think we'll all be excited.
Oh,
you guys
yes.
want to see something cool right now? My daughter came up and brought this guy. And
his name is
Willie Mays Haynes right here.
Willie Mays Haynes.
Willie Mays Haynes, Hall of Famer.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah, just had to bring that up, right, Willie?
Yeah.
That's random.
It's okay. We like
all right.
random. Look at us.
That's
We're random.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Yeah,
But Andy, we won't keep you much longer here. We thank you for joining us. It's always a pleasure. We've all been big fans of yours and friends of yours, and I know everybody back home, without a doubt, is very, very proud of you. Keep doing what you're doing because you're doing great things. And sometime maybe I'll make it up to Milwaukee, Wrigley North, and catch a ball game up there. But thank you for joining us, Andy.
No, man, it's awesome to hear familiar faces and know that people are rooting for me because.
Oh, absolutely.
I'll tell you a good story too. Like St. Louis, my first year in the big leagues, it was right before the game starting. I'm talking to Joe about something, and I hear, "Hey, G, Drew Cat," in Louisville's like Drew Cat, and I'm like, I heard Drew Cat, and it gets my attention. I look up, it's like 3 dudes, from Louisville, like, "Hey, G," they're so pumped up to see me. Joe's like, "What are we doing?" I was like, Joe, that's how we do it. That's how we do it, Joe. You know what I mean? Come on.
In the,
be judging me?
618. That's
yeah.
right.
I ain't a celebrity like you, Joe. You know what I mean? So I was like, classic. That's who we are, Joe. Sorry about it, man. That was great.
No need to be sorry because we're still the same way. We love it. So, Andy, take care of yourself. Right. Best of luck this season. Just not too much luck because the Brewers can't beat the Cubs. It's just help me out a little bit. Wait, no, I'm kidding. Best of luck to you. Keep doing what you're doing. We appreciate it.
No, thanks, guys. Great seeing both you guys.
All right, we'll be back here on the Behind the Mic Show after a quick break from our sponsors.
You have kids? Do they need a pet? Look no further than Turner's House of Goats. They have happy goats, jumping goats, one-eyed goats, and sleeping goats. Stop by Turner's House of Goats in Bible Grove, where goats are great and prices aren't bad.
Back here on the Behind the Mic Show, We from the Cheap Seat Sports Bar and Grill. Thanks to my daughter for trying to take my spot.
She was fantastic. She's a natural, Keith Gibson. I mean,
she likes being out here, Sam Irwin. She likes being here. She likes
she does.
the show and everything. So,
and you know what, Keith Gibson? She loves the camera, and the camera loves her right back.
Just like her dad.
I mean, no, you've got a face for radio, but she's got a face for TV. She ought to be in commercials. She really should.
Thank you. Really Thank you. Sammy, 30 for 30 came out last Sunday. One that was very much hyped, highly anticipated. Long Gone Summer from ESPN. And as I said earlier in the week on our Facebook group, on our Facebook page, I was unimpressed. I gave it a B-. What was your thoughts on it?
You know what? I'm not even concerned about my thoughts right now. I want to hear why you were unimpressed. Please tell me, Mr. Baseball, why you're unimpressed.
Okay, so most people probably think it's because it's centered around McGuire for 80% of it. I really thought so. But here's the biggest reason.
That's your Cubs slant.
Well, it was, but that's not the reason. But that's not the reason I was unimpressed. The reason I was unimpressed, Sam Irwin, is because it gave me nothing new. It was everything. If you're a baseball fan, even a casual fan at that time, you knew what was going on. It didn't give us any behind-the-scenes stuff. I mean, the stuff with McGuire and Sosa, the interviews were kind of it didn't give me anything fresh. I really think they could have made it like the Last Dance, and maybe we were spoiled with the Last Dance. But I just think the 2 hours that it went, I didn't think it did enough early on in the season, and then it kind of picked up, and then it told the same story over and over that a lot of people have, and so there was nothing new with it. So that didn't impress me whatsoever. I thought the interviews with Sosa made him look like a dork.
He looks like he's the Great Gatsby with the hairstyle now and the way he dresses.
I don't think it did him any favors. It didn't do McGuire any favors either. I thought McGuire made himself look real arrogant. I'm a home run hitter. Well, yeah, we know that. But you also lied about being on roids. Both of them did, So, but it did bring baseball back. But the overall of it, I loved that year. I thought it was a great summer of baseball. But it just didn't give me. I was really disappointed and unimpressed with what it gave me. It was nothing new. And I'm a baseball guy. I was really looking forward to it. I mean, I watched it over Wrestling Sunday.
Yeah, you did.
But just was not impressed whatsoever with anything.
Wow. Well, me, on the other hand, I loved it. I thought it was great. I enjoyed the walk down memory lane. Like you said, not really any new information, which to me was fine. I didn't expect to get a whole lot of new out of it. And I've been reading and hearing as I listen to other shows like the Le Batard Show, things like that, of course. There's a part 2 to this. So there might get more in depth into like the roids, and there might be more to it, is what I'm saying.
Well, if that's the case, I'm looking forward to that.
So I've been told. Don't know if that's 100%, but that's what I'm hearing. But what I will say, Keith Gibson, is the reason why I enjoyed it so much is because it took me back to the last time I gave a damn about baseball, and it took me back to a time when it was exciting. It took me back to a time when two guys who are on the total opposite ends of the spectrum of the world. You couldn't find two more opposite guys. McGuire has no personality, but he's a huge, reminds you of when, like professional wrestler, just a huge guy. Exactly. Huge guy, powering over, and the moon shots that he would hit, right? And then you have this guy that looks like he's half his size, but boy, that kid's strong, but with the personality that could light up New York City if he wanted to, so two polar opposites. And just that the summer that it was, I remember listening on the radio, the first home run of the year from Mark McGuire, because I was like, when the Cardinals got McGuire the prior year, I'm like, oh wow, it's cool, because Cardinals were just kind of for a lot of that time. Still were with him, but at least it was something to watch. And it took me back to when they showed some, even though Harry Carey didn't get to be in that season, at least it showed some about Harry Carey. I love that because I love Harry Carey. And then I got to hear Jack Buck's voice again, which to me, man, that gets to me, because I listened to him a lot of nights, before I'd go to bed. My grandma and I, would listen to Jack Buck. I'd listen to him as I'm going down the road. And then whenever McGuire hit I guess it was either 62 or 70, I can't remember which one, but when they showed Jack Buck
62.
with tears running down his face, the tears running down his face because he never thought he'd ever see anything like that.
That's the one thing that I did enjoy. I love seeing that because that's things you didn't see. I didn't know he was crying there.
Wait. So did you learn something new there?
I learned that Jack Buck was crying with 62. Yes.
There's something new then. There's something new.
One thing. But no, I enjoyed hearing Harry's voice and everything too, and
yeah,
it's just I wanted more from it. I guess I wanted some more deeper stuff. I guess than what I got.
Well, and here's the thing too: is it also depends on who you're talking to. You're not going to get very deep with a Mark McGwire. He doesn't have that personality. He's not going to. He doesn't exude any type of personality. He's just not that way. He's never been that way. Now Sosa, he's going to laugh and joke. He don't care if you like him or not. He's got his money. He's good. He don't care. And it also takes you back to where it's amazing how during that nobody cares who won the World Series. Nobody cares about the play, even though the Cubs made the playoffs for the first time in a long time.
Bingo. And that's one thing that I really, and as a Cub fan, that's one thing I guess hurt me a little bit, and part of the reason I was unimpressed. And it's nothing against Cardinals, great season, but why didn't they talk about Sammy leading the Cubs into the playoffs during all this as well? That was not mentioned a whole lot, very little during this.
They did talk about it a little bit, but not as much.
Right.
But really, if you think about it, the Cubs made the World Series, or not the World Series, the playoffs. But that was kind of like an afterthought compared to the home run chase.
Right.
Nothing else mattered. And especially whenever so many people have fallen out of love with baseball, what those two did, and Griffey, mind you, for a lot of that season, which he wasn't talked about much either.
Well, that's my other thing. Griffey was there through August with everybody, and then he just hit a slump.
Yeah.
Griffey, I don't know if he declined not to be in it or what.
Right. There's that talk. Now, why Griffey would want to be in that, I don't know. Who knows?
Here's a good reason why, and I've talked to a couple guys about this week since this aired, is Sosa and McGwire are labeled steroid users,
and he don't want to be attached to that. Maybe
correct. So that's the only thing that we've kind of came up with. The baseball guys that I've talked to is maybe he didn't want to be related or have anything to do with that. But
right,
I really was
in the grand scheme of things. Well, and there's nothing wrong with that, And like I said, maybe if there is a part 2, maybe we'll get more. And I don't really know what much more you could get. Than what it was. I mean, he was under a lot of pressure. McGwire was. Sosa never seemed affected by pressure. He didn't care at all. He was just having a ball. That's what amazed me about the whole thing was literally Sammy Sosa never quit smiling, never quit doing it. But once again, Sammy Sosa came from literally nothing.
Right.
Nothing.
But the Cubs were also winning. Winning can change your attitude a lot.
That's true too. And you say, which I get what you're saying, that was it slanted more towards McGwire than Sosa? Well, yeah, that's because McGwire won. The home run chase. Now, granted, Sammy got MVP because his team went to the playoffs, rightly so. McGwire was on an average team at best. So Sammy deserved what he got. But in the grand scheme of things, that's all people are going to remember, about that year is the home run chase because it brought people back, and you got people coming, 5,000, 10,000 people to watch, batting practice. I mean, good Lord, and that's what, to me, isn't it amazing how, and I thought this as I sat there, I'm like, then, it was so awesome of how we were locked into that home run chase and how we loved the home run. Now we're bored to death with it. Isn't that amazing? How now we're like, God, we wish we could just go back to old baseball, hitting singles and stealing bases and doing all that. But for one year, it brought everybody back.
Sometimes too much is a good thing.
Maybe so. Yeah.
I mean, I think that's part of it. It's been so. You've got so many guys. You got to think back then when Sosa and McGwire were doing this, and Griffey, there was only maybe, you could probably count on one hand the guys hitting 45, 50 home runs.
Right.
Now you've got 3 or 4 on a team
hitting
over 40. Right. And that's the big difference is the fact that you've got guys who can hit 40 home runs a year, but they're going to hit 230.
Right. Well, and one thing that I, reading from other people's perspective is people were saying, like, we should have, known more. We should have seen this coming. What part did you miss? Mark McGwire is this muscled up freak hitting 500-some-foot home runs. You thought that was natural? Now granted, he hit bombs. I understand that.
Right, but
to hit 70 in a year?
Right.
And then Sosa was 66. And when now Sammy Sosa basically came out of nowhere. He may have hit like 30, but then to hit 66, it's like, Now here's the thing too, Keith Gibson, as we have people listening and they have their opinions, is this. Bodybuilders take steroids, by the handfuls and all that. That doesn't mean they can hit a baseball.
That's a great point.
These guys have Arnold Schwarzenegger isn't hitting 40 home runs. I'm sorry, even in his prime time, whenever he's winning Mr. Olympia, he couldn't hit a baseball from me to the street. Okay, but these guys have talent. You got to have the eye, you got to have the coordination, the quick mass. There's so many things involved. And like Mark McGwire said, and a lot of them said, hitting home runs is not easy.
No,
it's there's some luck involved too, but a lot of skill and hand-eye coordination. I mean, it isn't all about.
You still got to go to the plate with a 32-inch wood bat that's 4 inches round circumference in the barrel. 6 maybe. I don't even know what they are anymore, but I got one in front of me. Let's say 6. Okay. At a say even a 90-mile-an-hour fastball, you still have to have the eye-hand coordination to swing that 6-inch wood bat through the zone and connect with that ball good enough to make it fly. I don't care what kind of, and I'm a big proponent of this. That's why I think Barry Bonds should be in the Hall of Fame. We'll get to that another day because that's a big proponent too, along with Pete Rose. But anyway, you still have to have the eye-hand coordination to hit a 90-mile-an-hour fastball 400 feet. Now, will that juice give you a little bit more, maybe make it 450? Right. But you still have to have the eye-hand coordination to hit a baseball.
So your thoughts whenever McGwire said he was basically taking the steroids because when he was lifting at the gym, these bodybuilders were telling him it helps with recovery because McGwire had some injury issues before this.
Right.
He'd missed some time. So because Mark McGwire did not need the steroids.
No, when he came out of USC, he was still getting home runs. He had the rookie record for home runs.
49, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So, in the grand scheme of things, was he cheating? Here's the thing. It wasn't illegal at the time, so it wasn't cheating. Let's consider that, and then the case too is if he's just using it didn't help him. I don't know, Keith. I don't know because he was hitting 49, 50, things like that, but he did jump to 70. So it helped him in the terms of it kept him healthy. Maybe and recover.
Right.
When you go through the dog days of summer in St. Louis where the humidity's 90+%, 100%, it's 120 on the field. Yeesh. So if it helps you with that, but still, either way, what those two did was so incredibly impressive to me. And under the pressure and the whole weight of the world on them in media, celebrities were into it. I was just, it takes me back to a much greater time of watching baseball.
I love that season. I loved everything about it. I was just and I loved watching it. Don't get me wrong. I was just unimpressed with it.
Let me ask you this: what were you looking for? What would have made it much better in your eyes? What were you, besides maybe things you didn't know, but what were you really looking for? What would really help you?
Some more behind the scenes stuff. Some more. What was it like in the clubhouse? What were more player interviews with guys like. I don't know, just some more in-depth stuff from guys who were around then, not just Bernie Miklasz of the Post-Dispatch or guys from the Tribune or, I wanted more in-depth from guys who lived that whole season with them. Like a Ray Langford. I'd love to sit and hear what Ray Langford had to say about McGwire playing with him every day. Guys like Mark Grace. I want to know what it was like for Grace to play with him, with Sosa every day, hearing Kerry Wood, who was a rookie that year in 98, May 6, 98, 20 strikeout
Same season he had the 20 strikeouts.
Right.
I didn't even realize that.
On my dad's birthday,
God.
May 6, on the world champ's birthday. But yeah, I enjoyed that part of it more than anything, hearing from guys who played alongside him, were part of it. I'd like to see more of that.
Fair enough.
But did you hear that?
Yeah.
It's Behind the Mic Show trivia time.
Is it
presented
time?
by
It is
Bees
time,
Trees.
Sam Irwin, for our Bees Trees trivia question of the week, Sam Irwin. And I have a doozy this week.
Oh.
Apparently nobody watched our video we put up on Facebook last week because we didn't have an answer.
Jesus. So we got to move on to something else.
That's all right.
Good.
It's all right.
Yeah.
It's all right. Sam Irwin, we talked about home run records being broken. Who holds the American League record for most home runs in a season?
Oh, I think I know the answer to that.
So there's your Bees Trees trivia question of the week. And Sam Irwin, before I give it to him again, why should everybody call the new dad, Greg Miller, at Bees Trees?
Well, we say it every week, but you can't say it enough, Keith Gibson. You just can't.
It's getting hot, Sam Irwin.
It's getting hot. And I'm going to tell you, I'm glad you brought that up. Because when it gets hot
and sticky,
if you've got overgrown bushes, all right, it creates a lot of moisture, thus making your deck very slippery.
Right.
Okay. Now, sometimes that can be beneficial, but also it can make things very sticky, stinky. Yeah, it's not good for anything else.
Well, you can't get any airflow going.
No flow, no. But if you can trim your bushes back, you don't have to worry about near as much moisture problems building up.
Right.
And your deck can remain pristine. You don't have to worry about the stickiness. And it's fresh. It's clean looking. It's fresh. Right. Much more appealing to, maybe a girlfriend or a wife that's coming home. They don't want to come home to the swampiness. Right. They don't want to come home. It's after a long, hard day. Nobody wants the swampiness of a deck that's had an overgrown bush putting a lot of moisture on its deck. It's just not worth it.
Right.
So you got to call Greg, and he will help you out with your problem.
Yeah, he will. Get your trees trimmed, your bushes trimmed, and keep that moisture away and make sure it doesn't get sticky and sweaty. So nobody slips on the old deck.
That's right.
Yeah. But anyway, so our Bees Trees trivia question of the week is: who holds the American League record for home runs in a season? We'll take a quick break, come back, and give you our final thoughts here on the Behind the Mic Show from the Cheap Seats.
Bees Trees, your local ISA certified arborist with over 10 years experience, specializing in tree removal, tree trimming, and with free estimates. Call Greg Miller of Bees Trees today at 217-260-4551.
Welcome back, everybody, to what's the name of this show?
Behind the Mic Show.
The Behind the Mic Show from the Cheap Seats Sports Bar and Grill. Keith Gibson, my tag team partner, Sam Irwin. And our new special guest, what's your name?
Kendall Grace Gibson.
What? I can't hear you.
Kendall Grace Gibson.
Kendall Grace Gibson. And let's talk about what you just did. You had just had a birthday. How old are you now?
4.
4 years old. And what did you get for your birthday? Did you get a pool? Yeah. What else did you get? Do you remember? Did you get a bicycle?
Yes, but we have the Paw Patrol one now.
Yeah.
We have the Paw Patrol one now.
Oh yeah.
Ooh.
And what did you do last weekend? Did you go swimming in your pool?
Yeah.
Yeah. And did you get to wear your floaties?
Yeah.
Yeah. And you had fun, didn't you?
Yeah. And the water was cold.
It was cold, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
But did you get to float?
Yeah.
How did you float? That's right. Oh.
You're the best, Daddy.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you. I love you. What is Sunday?
Father's Day.
Father's Day. And are you and I going to celebrate Father's Day together? Yep. Perfect. I can't wait. Boop. All right. Anything you want to tell everybody? Can you say hi to everybody?
Hi, everybody.
And tell them, make sure you listen to what show?
Behind the Mic Show.
Behind the Mic Show. That's right. All right. Can you wave to everybody? Say, see you later.
See you later.
If you need the taste of Southern Illinois, then visit the all-new Bosco's Biscuits and Booze, home of the world champion daily special. 2 large, all-natural, juicy white meat chicken breasts, a side of the famous What the Hell biscuits, and a bucket of the cheapest beer in stock for only $6.99. Located at the corner of Old Milwaukee Boulevard, next to the Primo Hooer Hotel. Bosco's Biscuits and Booze. It's world champion food and cheap-ass booze.
Back here on the Behind the Mic Show from the Cheap Seats Sports Bar and Grill. Keith Gibson alongside me, my tag team partner, the great one, Sam Irwin. And Sammy, what a show. We talked a lot of baseball today.
Oh, we sure did.
Andy Haynes from Milwaukee Brewers hitting coach, one of our good friends. Thanks, Andy, for coming on the show. We appreciate you and wish you the best of luck. And just it's always a joy to talk to a guy about baseball, but talk to a guy who gets it too. And Andy gets it, without a doubt. We talked, IHSA coming back to Champaign-Urbana for the boys' state basketball tournament. That's exciting. We got our Fast Five in today. We talked about our greatest video game tourney. Talked about my unimpressiveness with the McGuire Sosa 30 for 30.
Right.
I had my daughter try to take over my spot on the show. I mean,
so many things. What a show. So many things.
It is. But Sammy, one thing we haven't done yet this week is time for the Dumbass Criminal of the Week. And Sam Irwin, last week we had right out of Clay County, Illinois. This week, what do you got for me?
This week we're going across the pond, Keith Gibson, as dumbasses are worldwide.
So I think you will enjoy this. That's right. So our dumbass criminal of the week is in London this week, Keith Gibson.
The UK.
Mm-hmm. All right. You've heard of relationship goals, right? Here's an example of a relationship non-goal. A 41-year-old woman named Dika, that's what I'm going with, in London broke quarantine to visit her boyfriend. Can't keep love apart, Keith Gibson. Even in a pandemic, you can't do it. Won't do it, right? So anyway, she showed up at his house with a bottle of wine, and he invited her in. Nice. Good start to the story,
good start.
I think. Right. But then he poured wine into tumblers instead of wine glasses. So you know the difference in a wine glass and a tumbler, right? Yeah. Well, unfortunately, Dika lost her mind when he did this. So apparently she'd been cooped up too long and a little cuckoo, apparently, for Dika. So she lost her mind. She slapped him a bunch of times, then hit his roommate with a belt, and then, to top it all off, pooped on their doorstep and left. I can't imagine why this relationship didn't work out. She seems so reasonable and stable. So Dika slaps him over poured wine in the wrong type of glass, hits the roommate with a belt, and then poops on his doorstep before she leaves and says, "Peace." And that is your dumbass criminal of the week. Keith Gibson, your thoughts. Have you had that happen to you before?
Well, you don't pour wine in a tumbler. Everybody knows that.
You just don't do it. That he brought it on himself. I agree. It's like, have some etiquette, man. I mean, good God. Yeah. Wow. That's your dumbass criminal.
Well, you know what though, Sam Irwin? It's everybody's gonna be a little edgy here when things start really opening back up. So you gotta watch it.
Yeah. It doesn't take much to push him over that edge.
Right. Been cooped up for a while.
Uh-huh.
But no, that's a dandy. Always good ones. Always good. Not hard to find either, are they?
No, they're not. They are not. No, they're not.
Sam Irwin, we're gonna wrap things up here. Let's get our final thoughts. Let's start with you. What's your final thoughts this week? Had a great show last week. A lot of views. We had over 5,000 views last week of the Behind the Mic show. Just short of 300 downloads in the podcast. We thank you, each and every one of you, for watching in, tuning, listening. It made us feel really, really, really good. Of course, thanks to Just Cook Management and Pigman, and our condolences to Brian, the Pigman, who lost his mother this week. And so our thoughts and prayers are with him and his family. Crazy how things go pretty quick, Sam Irwin. But great show last week. Of course, one of our good friends is also a dad again, Sam Irwin. Brian McTackett. Congratulations to him and Mindy on their third. So get Coach Tackett. We're thinking of you, and good luck with that. If you need anything, we'll come down to Coach.
I got no problem with that. Yeah, let us know. Yes, sir. Yes. So a lot of things going on. And I tell you what, Keith Gibson, and watch as I watched we can see the counter, of people that are watching at the time, as everybody can when you're watching it live. And there for a while, it was hovering around, 10, 15, something like that of our loyal listeners. And then old Justin Cook put it on Pigman's page, and those numbers went from 15 to 35 to 65, and then it just kept going. My eyes are bugging out like, oh, what is going on? And I'm like, oh, that's what happened. Got up to around, 150 at one time we're watching. And then we saw the totals at the end were like almost 2,000.
Yeah, it was 1,800 when we got done. We're like, all right, that's a good. Yeah. That's a good one. And then it just kept growing and growing.
Yeah. So once again, thank him for that. Very cool, and but it's just awesome to see. And as you said, you've already sold a ton of those shirts that people got to vote on. Awesome to see. And once again, we don't exist, and this show doesn't grow without the people that watch at home. Watch this on Facebook, listen to it on the podcast. We've got a variety of ways that they do that. We don't do it without our sponsors, every week as we thank. We've got, of course, the golf scramble coming up, which we have 12 teams already. Right. So if you're still interested, we might be able, I don't know.
We'll put it on a waiting list to see what we get here, but
right, because there may be a team dropout, who knows?
Right.
But there's a lot of people sponsoring that as well. That's going to be a lot of fun. We also have an event planned after, which is going to be epic.
At Venue 720, all for a good cause, Moore's Mission.
Yes, absolutely. So really looking forward to that as well. But man, in general, final thoughts. I'm going to say this. We've been dealing with a lot of negativity, right, in this world for a while.
Don't steal my line.
Yeah. So I'm not gonna say it. Nope, not gonna say it. I'm not gonna say yours. You can finish with that. That's your line right there, because I'm never gonna say that. I don't care about that. No, but anyway. But I will say this: to find positivities as best you can. As you're seeing people do the best they can, and hey, we're all guilty of it, right? We all can get negative. I definitely can when I get Facebook talks, which I should avoid, but I never can. Willis always reels me in. He knows what he's doing, but it's for fun. But anyway, what I will say is this: is nobody's promised tomorrow at all. And I've been thinking for a long time of, save your money and save and say, and there's nothing wrong with that. And, you got retirement coming up, even though that's, 20 some years away or whatever. But then I thought the other day, you know what? You could die tomorrow. So I am going to buy a motorcycle that I haven't had in a while, had to get rid of a motorcycle, which is my choice, but I was married at the time, had some bills to pay. People do that, had to get rid of it, ripped my guts completely out of me at the time when it happened. And now I am fortunate that I have a great job with a great company, and I have, kind of built myself back up by doing that. And I'm rewarding myself, and I am getting a motorcycle because you know what I thought, Keith Gibson? Screw it. Enjoy yourself. Go out on a motorcycle ride, enjoy the weather, and try to find something positive. Don't watch the TV. Don't get on Twitter. Go out and ride your motorcycle for an hour or two one evening. Just let the wind blow through what little hair you have left. No cell phone, no nothing, and just unplug. And the only thing that I want to hear are those friggin' pipes, because good, I love the sound of Harley Davidson pipes. I always have since I was a kid. And so I thought, you know what, reward myself. So in saying that, to everybody that watches this live or is at home, I don't care what it is. If you enjoy something, do it. If there's something you want to do it, because who knows what tomorrow brings.
I'm taking my shirt off.
Take it off. Absolutely. Show us that. Let's have a party. I don't care. Take it off. But yeah, just, try to find the positive things as you can, because man, there's a lot of negative, and it depresses the hell out of you, and I definitely can speak to that. And it's just, so I'm trying to do better at that. And I found me a good used motorcycle. I'm not spending a ton. It's a reasonable thing. Go from there. Just hope the damn thing runs and I get up there to pick it up. I'll be heartbroken if it don't. Might say something different next week if it don't work out. But
I can't wait to hear the story.
Yeah. But no, looking forward to that. So that's my final thoughts, is just try to go out and find something positive you enjoy doing. Unplug from the news, the Twitter, all that crap, Facebook debates. Just get away from it and enjoy it, because
except for us,
it's fleeting. Except for us. Well, we bring joy, Keith Gibson.
Right, we do.
Yeah, we bring joy. But anything you want to add, Keith Gibson?
Well, as I say every week, be nice.
Give it to us.
Be nice. Right. It's this weekend is Father's Day weekend, and I just want to give a shout out, because I know he watches this each and every week, and to my dad. He's my hero, my best friend. We spent many a times together and many a trips together. In fact, 34 plus years at Wrigley. For father-son trip. You and I 2 years ago to this day,
dude,
we went, you and myself and the old man downtown, the world champ, went to Chicago for the weekend, got to tour Wrigley, which was awesome.
Which was unbelievable. If anybody listening out there, if you ever get the chance to tour Wrigley Field, good God.
It's not expensive either.
No,
$25.
Worth every penny. Yeah. Worth every penny. And do you remember, Keith Gibson, when we left there, a lot of steps, things like that. And I'm sorry to interrupt you, but this brings back a great friggin' story. So we get done doing the tour of Wrigley, which was just amazing, so amazing. And then we walk across the street to the Cubby Bear, right?
Yes. I forgot about this until you start telling this.
Oh my God! So we walk across the street to the Cubby Bear, and many of them are listening now. That if you don't know Bosco, most everybody knows Bosco Gibson, but those of you that don't, you're missing out if you don't, because it is a laugh riot at all times. He's just that way. So we get to the Cubby Bear, and like I said, there was a lot of stairs at Wrigley, a lot of walking, whatever. So we sitting out at the Cubby Bear to order a beer, maybe some nachos, whatever we got at the time. And Bosco's leg gets a cramp in it, or goes numb or something. And he stands up to stretch it out, and he falls down because his leg's numb. And then he goes over to a railing and kicks it, trying to wake it up, and he's going, ah! I mean, oh my God, I can't do the story justice, but God, we were crying.
It was a great weekend. Got to see NXT, watched Money in the Bank, and
God,
and
that was a great
tour of Wrigley. It was
yes.
a lot of fun.
Yep.
A lot of fun.
Yeah. But anyway,
$9 for a beer.
Yeah, just couldn't believe it. Yeah, but God, and you know what? That kind of stuff is so awesome. You guys are so tight.
We are.
And it's great. So, yeah, I hope that is definitely a good weekend. Will you see your father at all on Father's Day?
I won't. I'll give him a call and talk to him. Well, I'll probably video chat with him. But,
oh, there you go.
I just want to say shout out to Dad. Thanks for everything you always done for me. I mean, in fact, this week he went out and tried to sell us some whole sponsorships for the outing. And now he's retired, keeps him busy, too. But, thanks. Happy Father's Day to you, Pop. Being a father, this is now my 4th Father's Day.
Congratulations!
Thank you. It's pretty awesome, as you can tell. Our co-host.
She seems to like you, so you must be doing something.
I must be doing something all right. But no. Father's Day's always been special to me. So.
Hey, I tell you what, Keith Gibson, you build me a pool, I'll sit on your lap too.
Felt like Santa Claus for a little bit some days.
Yeah, right.
Give presents and they tell me what they want. That's right. Final thoughts on that? No, I don't have much else than that. Just happy Father's Day to each and every one of you listeners out there. Your fathers, make sure you call them, because I will tell you this. Those trips mean the world to me that my dad and I took. And I know someday that I'm not going to be able to do that. And breaks my heart. I don't like thinking about it, but I know we all get older and we all get the same age. So, and do me a favor this week. I won't tell you why. Just if you have a pet, give it a hug. Just give it some extra loving for me this week. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, Sam, you got anything else?
No, got nothing.
That's what she said. All right. Anyway, for my
at least twice. Yeah.
For my co-host, Sam Irwin, I am Keith Gibson. This has been the Behind the Mic Show, presented by Ford of Tuscola from the Cheap Seats Sports Bar and Grill.